Alright, so in this video we are going to start to see the rise of dictators and totalitarian states in Europe in between World War One and World War Two. And totalitarian states are exactly that. States or governments that want total control over their people. They want to control religion, they want to control the economy. They want to control the media and arts, what you see and hear and listen to and read. They want to control the education and sciences. They want to control your family, your free time, your thoughts, your opinions. They want to control everything. In totalitarian states, they usually have a single leader and a single party because they don't want to give you choice. So some sort of supreme leader, like in Nazi Germany, it's Hitler, or in the Soviet Union, it will be Joseph Stalin. They demand complete obedience and reject individual freedoms, and they make you obey through instilling fear in you if necessary, because they also always have some sort of secret police. Now, the job of the secret police is not to go after criminals, but it's to go after people who do not support the government. In Nazi Germany, it's going to be the Gestapo. In fascist Italy, it's the OVRA. In the Soviet Union, it's going to be the KGB, which before that it was the Cheka. And then everything, all have to serve the purposes of the state. Everything is about the state and its goals. And of course, the state is embodied in the dictator, so basically whatever he says. And then they always use propaganda combined with modern technology. You cannot have a totalitarian state before the 20th century because the technology wasn't there to spread propaganda constantly. But now you've got radio and you have movies, and of course you still have printed material as well, so it makes it easier for them to have control. And one of the first totalitarian states is fascist Italy. Fascism is a particular kind of totalitarianism. Fascism glorifies struggle and war and conflict. They're firm believers in social Darwinism, survival of the fittest applied to human society. They believe war is what makes humans better. They reject peace. They also reject democracy because democracy relies on the concept of equality, and they do not believe in equality. They believe in inequality. They do believe that certain people, certain groups, and certain races are just inherently better and superior to others. Now, the founder of fascism is Mussolini, this man who failed in a lot of what he did, actually, until he stumbled upon politics and then began to formulate this idea of fascism. And he really brought together a lot of ideas that were already there, like social Darwinism, and he merges them together into this political philosophy called fascism. And he starts to become more and more popular in Italy because he promises that if the fascists were in charge, he would protect Italy from communism, socialism, and chaos. And the middle class and the upper class feared communism. Russia had already become communist. There had been communist uprisings in Germany and other parts of Europe. There was real fear of that, or just outright anarchy, fear of government collapse. And to those outside the upper and middle class, he appealed to their nationalism, promising to recreate the Roman Empire. That's another sign of fascism, this concept that we can make ourselves great again through conquering. And then he began to, I guess you say, walk out that talk because the fascist political party had their own private militia called the Squadristi, nicknamed the Black Shirts because of their uniform. This would be similar if the Democrats or the Republicans had their own private militias, and then they fought each other in the streets. The Black Shirts would raid communist newspapers and burn the building down. They would attack communist headquarters in different cities. If there was going to be a communist march, they would show up and fight. They would fight communists in the streets. And now, from our perspective, we would view that with shock and horror. But from a fascist perspective, it's war, it's struggle, it's violence, it's good, it's proving they're superior. And if you genuinely fear communism, you say, well, here's this guy who's at least he's doing something. And eventually he's made prime minister. He basically threatens the Italian government. Either you make me prime minister or my Squadristi will march on Rome. So they make him prime minister. It does not take him long to take over full control and power, or nearly full control and power, of the Italian government. So this is a great quote from Mussolini. It really sums up fascism. Let us have a dagger between our teeth, a bomb in our hands, and an infinite scorn in our hearts. So what does he do once he's in charge? Well, one, he now issues law by decree, not the Italian parliament. Anything he says is law is law. There's one supreme leader. Unrestricted police. We're used to the concept in America that They cannot search your house without a warrant, for instance. You have a right to an attorney, and you have a right to phone call. All those rules are gone. I mean, unrestricted police. Basically, they say, well, don't commit a crime, and you don't have to worry about it. That's kind of how they explain that away. They outlawed all other parties, particularly the Communist Party. Only the Fascist Party created the OVRA, the Organization for Vigilance and Repression of Anti-Fascism. It's the secret police who went after people who were not supporting the fascist enough. They created fascist organizations because they want to control your free time as well, even fascist youth groups. Because they realize if they can get children early, it's easier to fool their head with propaganda. And of course, controlled all media. There's no more freedom of speech or press. All public material had to be pro-fascist. So, for instance, a newspaper is not going to promote the ideas of Gandhi or Dr. King because they are pacifists, and the fascists do not believe in that. And so they're going to control everything. Now, another symptom of these totalitarian states in Europe into World War I and World War II, for whatever reason, they all had a very conservative view of women in society. Whether it's Nazi Germany, the Communist Soviet Union, or Fascist Italy, or Fascist Spain, they all believed that a woman's role was in the home as a wife and mother, and that is all. It was just a woman's job to essentially breed the next generation of warriors, of soldiers, and that's it. So a very conservative view. Now, did the fascists of Mussolini ever have full control over Italy? No, they did not. They had to compromise with the military. He never had full control of the military, and he made compromises with traditional institutions as well, like the Catholic Church. Even when he was the dictator, the Catholic Church was still very popular, and he needed to win over the Catholics in Italy. So he, for instance, created or allowed or gave a certain portion of Rome to the Catholic Church to create the Vatican. So he never exercised complete control. He never had as much power as he wanted, but he's still important because don't forget, he inspires Hitler. Hitler will have far more control over Nazi Germany than Mussolini ever had over Italy, but he inspires Hitler, so that makes him important. He sets the precedent, he sets the example, he sets the standard. In fact, you see in this picture, Mussolini, it looks like Mussolini is doing the Nazi salute. He's not. He's doing the Italian fascist salute. They did it first. The Nazis stole that idea, or borrowed that idea, from the Italian fascists.